Oh my goodness. We are back again. Wow. So I don't know if you guys are following the Cleo Smith case, but she was brought home. I just kind of want to bring a little bit of attention to this other case that's been a pet case of mine for quite some time. The Summer Wells case. I know it's been my most requested case. I don't get, hey, Karen Lee from Greece. It's nice to see you again. Honestly, I hope I don't bore everybody with this case because it is a 5-month-old case, but we haven't actually gotten any justice for Summer Wells yet. And so I just really wanted to get her name and her face out there. And it's been my most requested case. There hasn't been too many people actually requesting cases, full disclosure. But this has been multiple times on my live streams. People are like, please, do Summer Wells. And I got that through my Gmail as well. And so I know there's a dedicated fan base of people who want me to cover this case. And I'm just really, really hoping that I can just get her name out there and really just, bring some attention to this case. I have so much to get through. I am reading your chats as I go along. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Misty Johnson. Hi, Kata. Hi, Aggie Willett. Lon S. Yeah, I know. It's just, Lon S writes not boring at all, but honestly, there was literally 5-6 hours of footage I went through, probably more than that, actually 10 hours around there. And I was just it took me 2 weeks to research this case. And I try to keep it interesting as much as possible because there's a lot to get through. There's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of speculation about this case. So really, I'm kind of nervous because I'm just I hope I don't get tired. I'm going to try to keep it to under an hour. So this will be interesting. I hope I get through everything. Good morning, Frankie, Tanya, Mary. Good morning. This family is nuts. Mallory Young wrote, far from boring. Okay. I'm not live yet. I'm going to actually check if I am live on my YouTube. I think I'm... Oh, wow. I am live right now. Oh, okay. It did it automatically. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the Summer Wells case. I really appreciate everybody being here. I thought I was literally just hanging out and chatting with you guys before I press go live, but apparently it's already live. So here we are. Welcome to Joseph Moore's live stream. I am a true crime, sometimes case discussion channel. I was given a huge platform with the Gabby Petito case. Unfortunately, full disclosure, that case did die down quite a bit. So I am trying to work on new material. This has been my most requested case. It is the Summer Wells case. And what's really compelling about this case, it is a 5-year-old little girl who is so beautiful and sweet and has such a huge life ahead of her. And a lot of it is about her breaking the cycle of abuse and neglect that her family have been through. And so I really want everybody to release their bias when it comes to this case, because I've researched this case for 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks now. And what I found very hard about it was I watched the videos, I watched everything back, and I'm just well, okay, the parents were neglectful. The parents did have a big, giant criminal history. They look, as nice as I can put it, impaired throughout a lot of it. So I just found myself losing interest because my bias of poverty, of drug abuse was all getting in the way. But at the end of the day, we're talking about a 5-year-old girl here. And that's what this case is about, is bringing her justice. So I know that Cleo Smith was recently brought to justice in Australia, and she was found and brought home safe. And so when I heard that story, I was we're going to do that for Summer Wells. We're going to find what happened to Summer Wells. And I just want, with my platform, to basically put her name out there, put her face out there, and bring her some justice. So I am gonna get right into it. I realize I am live. Thank you so much for being here. So my introduction, I wrote a ton of notes because it's a very hard case, but I'm trying to keep it as clear and concise as possible. So the introduction is she's from a small town called Rogersville, Tennessee, and it's a town of 4,400 people according to the 2009 census. I don't know if it went up or down, but it's a very, very small rural town. And let's get into that. Basically, this is her home right here. It sits on a hill. Her home sits on a hill. So the front door is far away from the basement, which is at the bottom of the hill. So the big giant story was that according to Candace and her grandmother, they were planting flowers out front when she was brought into her home and was supposed to be taken care of by the boys, but the boys let her be in the basement, and that's when she went missing. They were outside gardening, the boys were in the home, and she apparently went missing out of this basement right here on a hill. Big shout out to nerdy_addict on Twitter for having this drone footage. He does an amazing job, and he's really what brought me to the case. I had a lot of discussions with him on Twitter. Well, just one, but more on him in a bit. But thank you for this awesome drone footage. Nerdy Addict. I'll link him in the description below. But you can see that it's a small rural town, and she was abducted from this house in broad daylight, surrounded by dogs that bark at the slightest movement, and it has a huge long driveway. So there's not there's this big giant Corvette driving up and speeding away. This person, whoever it is, according to the parents, snuck in and got into the basement and abducted her from the basement in broad daylight, surrounded by family. And she has been missing since June 15th of this year. It's been about 5 months. We have no updates on her whatsoever. She is a young 5-year-old girl. So if she were to, hide in this rugged terrain of Tennessee, Rogersville, Tennessee, a very rural area, not a lot of neighbors, not a lot of people, she would fold up into the size of a laptop. So you kind of have to keep that in mind. She could be underneath a tree, underneath a trunk, hiding in a tree, anywhere in this small rural town. And they have searched, but apparently the last I read, they're running out of money for this search. And so they've scaled back quite a bit, but in the 5 months that they've been searching, they have found nothing. So this house is 780 square feet. It was appraised at $10,000. So it's a very small house. And again, according to the parents, they were 40 to 50 feet away from her when she went missing. It sits on an 11-acre lot as well. So I don't know, just looking at the basement, you would have to be very stealthy to be able to abduct her because it is such a big, long basement. Driveway, and a big lot. So if you were sneaking up to that basement, you would have to kind of be almost hiding when you were doing it. And I don't really see too many ways to hide here. I see there's a 50 feet backyard that you can probably dart across. But again, it's very risky. It was surrounded by family, and there is a bunch of sheds and a bunch of buses around their home that, according to a lot of my research, is actually inhabited. The grandma actually lived in the trailer. You can see it back here. The grandma lived in the trailer. There was this guy named Billy, who I'll get to in a bit, that basically, lived on the property because he would get into a fight with his wife, and then he would go and hang out in a shed on the property. And Billy has been known to touch kids. Just a little trigger warning. I'm not going to get into too much of the allegations to do with child abuse, but there is going to be a little bit of a trigger warning here. I will discuss that. So there was an Amber Alert for Summer Wells, and it happened on June 16th. And again, there's a $58,000 reward for any information leading to her being found. So let's get into what she looks like. So there's a missing billboards all over, and they look like this. So Summer Wells, 5 years old, last seen in Rogersville, Tennessee. Call 800 TBI find. It's Tennessee Bureau of Investigation find if you see her. So what's kind of interesting about these billboards is that she has long hair, but if she actually was going off about what she looked like when she was last seen, she actually had a shaved head, which is a lot of speculation about her shaved head. Candace says that they shaved her head because Summer wanted to look more like her mom, and that's the reason why. And the theory goes, according to Dawn and Candace, well, actually Dawn said this, that she wanted to shave her own head, so that she shaved it, and then it was all messed up, so then they try to clean it up and shave it for her. So that's the story. This picture is very, very important, so everybody just kind of soak it in, because I will be talking about this picture a lot. This is the last known photo ever taken of Summer Wells. It was in the summer of June. It was about 80 degrees. It was very, very hot in that truck. And she's wearing long sleeves, and more on that in a bit. But what I really, really, really want to talk about is this truck. This truck, any information leading towards this truck, you guys need to phone that in to the TBI. So right here is the truck that anybody with information needs to come forward about this truck. It was last seen June 15th and June 16th in the area of Rogersville, Tennessee, around the time Summer Wells went missing. So if you have any information, please contact 800 TBI find. So it is a 1998 to 2000 Toyota Tacoma with a full bed ladder rack. So we touched on her haircut, and I really just want to run through the timeline real fast. I know if you're very familiar with this case, you're like, okay, the timeline. But when I refer to H, it's actually a minor. He's 15 years old, so I'm going to only refer to him as H. And in the timeline, I just really wanted to point out the conflicting stories that really casted a lot of doubt onto the parents. I will get into my theories about the parents, but so from the start, H says that they were planning on going swimming, but this is not corroborated by Candace. She says that they had no plans. So let's get into what H had to say. Sorry, I think I said his name, but let's call him H. So let's get into that.
And then, like I said, dapped up, we went inside, talked about it. And then she said, you want to go fishing summer? I said, do you care if I come with? Because it's summer, and I treated her like a little sister.
Right.
And she said, you got to ask Alex.
So she asked you, do you want to go fishing?
No, I asked if I could come with because Summer was going.
Got it. And she says, ask your mom.
Yes.
And what did you do?
I went to ask her. She said that's fine because there's no problem with going fishing for a little bit and come back.
Sure.
And then, like I said, dapped up.
Okay, so this is H right here. He is thank you for the new subscriber, Donnie FC. H is a minor. I can't really show his face or anything like that. This interview was done by the interview room. There is literally hours and hours of footage of the interview room, and you can actually go through it. And if you're very familiar with the timeline, you can pick out a lot of inconsistencies with what H has to say versus what Candace has to say. But what H is saying in here is that the entire time they were planning on going swimming. And then if we pull up this article, again, if you're familiar with this case, there's also a lot of articles that Candace said where there are conflicting stories. So if we pull up this, did you like that transition? I know I did. I am trying to read your chat as I go through this, but Candace says a lot of conflicting things in articles. And this is why it makes this case so hard, because you really have to have like a photographic memory. But Bly says, so we were like, well, instead of sitting here in the car where it's hot, it was baking hot. We'll just go to Warriors and let Summer swim for a little while. Like I said, we weren't even planning on going swimming or fishing or anything. And even this person here in the article writes, note, this contradicts Teen H's account of plans to go fishing. So, getting involved in this case was very difficult because I realized there's so many nuances in this case. And I just really wanted to get every single nuance. But one of the big things is that they went swimming before Candace Summer went missing. And that's really important. And I think it's very important for me to actually just pull up that footage real fast. This totally is off script, but this is the last known footage of Summer Wells ever taken. And it's very important to look at. It's to like this like country song. So of course I had to edit that out just because I didn't want copyright strikes. So let's just play it. Ooh, okay. Oh my goodness. I hope I don't get strike. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it's to that song. This is a TikTok to a Hard Knock Life or something. It's a very like loud sound. It's like a TikTok video. And it's interesting that Candace is posting videos of her young daughter on TikTok. TikTok to me, I'm on TikTok. And what I found kind of interesting about TikTok is, you know, it is an algorithm where if you sign up in like Tennessee or something, it will automatically show you videos of other people in Tennessee. And Tennessee, more on this in a bit, is a hot spot for child predators. So the idea that you're posting your minor on TikTok, to me, I don't want to cast judgment on her. But it just kind of says a lot about her parenting, because I don't think I would really want my child to be on an app like that. Not any judgment to anybody, but it would just be something like in my mind, like maybe I shouldn't be posting my child on, you know, TikTok with. Anyway, more on that in a bit. I don't really want to get into, you know, the neglect allegations yet, but we will get into that. But that image is very important because it is the last time Summer Wells has ever been seen alive, and it's the last video taken of her, and it's her swimming at this place called Warriors. So, you know, they like to say it was never planned. H says it was planned. They were planning on going fishing. And what's kind of interesting about this conflicting story is that it's a good segue into my next conflict of the timeline is the bathing suit. So there's a lot of speculation over her bathing suit in this last known video of her. Is it even a bathing suit? Let's play it again. I look forward to reading your comments, but a lot of people say this isn't a bathing suit. And if I kind of zoom in here a bit, like it looks like it's like a skirt or something and not a bathing suit. So I think there's some speculation that, you know, they just wanted to hide the fact that they weren't prepared for swimming, and they actually just allowed her to go in her street clothes to go swimming. And Candace basically wanted to cover this up because it would speak to her as a mother, allowing her child to go swimming in her regular clothes. So I'm not too sure, but there are conflicting statements about Summer Wells's bathing suit. So I just wanted to point that out because H says that Candace changed Summer into a bathing suit at Allie's house. So Allie is H's mother, and it's also Candace's best friend. So if we want to play what this is about, here are the conflicting statements. So bathing suit.
And with him sitting there saying that she fell on a rock, there's no rock. Where do you see a rock?
Right.
Wrong video.
Yeah, because she has shorts on because her mom put her bathing suit on her.
Okay.
And
where did she put her bathing suit on her? Do you know?
Inside.
In the house?
Yes.
So she changed her in the house?
Yeah.
Did she take the clothes with her?
Yeah.
And Summer, was she in her bathing suit?
Yes.
And how did she get in her bathing suit? Or
I actually put her bathing suit on before we left home because it was really hot out that day.
Okay.
So it was just something small and then not so hot.
Okay. Okay.
Because I know how she gets too hot.
Okay, so Yeah, so Tiffany writes, my kids have gone swimming in their regular clothes a time or two when we were at someone's house and not prepared. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not anything big that she did that. I know I go swimming a lot when I'm not ready or prepared, and I will just like wear my regular clothes too. But it is kind of very strange that, you know, Hunter H says that that she was changed into her bathing suit at Candace's house, but then, you know, I spliced the clip together. Candace says that she prepared Summer for swimming that day from the morning they went out. So it is kind of interesting that there's kind of like this conflict of like the bathing suit, because like, again, it's just sort of casting doubt on the timeline and if any of this information is even true. So yeah, there's a big conflict over the bathing suit. And also in this image here, we see that after she was done swimming, she was also wearing a sweater. And in that last clip, Candace talks about how she got too hot. So in this, after they're done swimming, she was put into a sweater, and this was a hot car. So why was she wearing a sweater after going swimming in a hot car? A lot of speculation about that. You know, could the sweater have been used to hide markings or to hide the fact that she wasn't breathing? That's some of the speculation there. And so back to the bathing suit. So they also have the story that they were trying to kill 30 minutes. So if I'm looking at right here, so the story goes that Candace dropped her mother off at the hospital because she was having knee pain. And then what had happened after that was that she went to Allie's house to sit with Hunter while she waited for her mother. She gets the call that her mother is ready to be picked up from the hospital. And from that point on, you know, she picks her mother up at the hospital and brings Hunter, the 15-year-old, with her to the hospital. And he was under the impression that they were going to go swimming or fishing, sorry. And so they go and they pick the mother up. The mother has a prescription and they bring it to Walgreens and they drop off the prescription and they have to kill 30 minutes. So here's where I kind of had some speculation. Killing 30 minutes, this is what they did. They went to Walgreens, the drive-through. They went to Discount Tobacco and Beer Mart. I'm just going to look at their itinerary here. Hopefully you can kind of see it. They went to the Warriors Path State Park, they went to the original hippie house, and they went back to Walgreens. So just driving alone, that's 20 minutes. That's 20 minutes of driving to kill half an hour. And in those areas, Candace says that they were swimming for 20 minutes. And then they spent at least 5 minutes at the original hippie house and Discount Tobacco. So we're looking at like an hour trip to kill 30 minutes. You know, if we're being not generous, an hour, but it's more like an hour and a half. So it is kind of like a red flag that their sequence of events are very like scattered and all over the place. You know, they can't even agree on the bathing suit. They can't agree on the plans. And then we also got this weird itinerary that they did all this within just to kill half an hour. And you have to remember, because this is kind of important too, that in the car sat Grandma, which is obviously Candace's Blythe's mother, and the minor H. And Summer. So there are 4 people in this car during this time. Those are the last witnesses of, you know, Summer pretty much being seen alive, along with her brothers, because Dawn during this time was actually at work. So thank you so much for being here, guys. It's a very confusing case, but I'm just trying to walk through the timeline and like why there is some like really compelling sketchiness with this timeline. So there's another little compelling sketchy behavior of this timeline.
Yeah, because she had shorts on because her mom put her bathing suit on her.
People not agreeing if a minor who is H, who I'm calling H, was given alcohol and drugs. Again, trigger warnings, but there are minors in this case that do experience neglect and abuse to some level. And one of those things is that, according to H, Candace gave him a twisted tea and vapes, whereas Candace says it was given to her mother, which is the grandma. But according to Hunter H later on, she told him not to talk about the twisted tea to the authorities. So after all this happened, Candace called, I guess, H and said, do not talk about the twisted tea to the authorities on the day she went missing, because H says that he was given a twisted tea. So let's get into that. Again, just kind of casting doubt on the timeline here. There's a lot of really compelling aspects about this timeline that just really don't add up. So let's get into what H had to say about it.
I don't know where that iced tea coming from. I know that I did buy an iced tea
Okay.
from the smoke shop in town, but I bought that iced tea from my mother.
Okay.
And
Okay.
if she was here today, she would tell you that.
Right. Right.
And the vapes that I bought
Yep.
were nicotine vapes from the hippie house
Next door.
right next door.
She got here, she was like telling me how she talked to them and was like, don't mention about the alcohol, but I don't mention it.
Did she say what she told them?
No, but she started asking me. I just said, I just told them what happened on the timeline.
And what did she say?
She said, okay, that better be it. I said, you didn't even scare me.
Well, why would she try to scare you?
That's what I'm saying. Why was she trying to even ask questions about it?
What's your gut feeling?
My gut feeling is that she had something to do with it. But then when all this happened, she just wanted the money in it, because I'm not gonna say names, but one of Red's friends, my girlfriend's mother's friends, was on Beach Creek just riding around, and she seen, as soon as someone posted a $25,000 reward, she seen her car, Candace's car, zooming down the road to the Hawkins County Police Station.
Okay, so honestly, full disclosure, I find H very hard to listen to. No offense to people from Tennessee, but I don't know if it's a drawl or something, but he always sounds like he's yawning. So every time he talks, I'm always like, I'm always yawning too. But basically, hopefully, if you were paying attention to that story, basically Candace says that she didn't give H a twisted tea and it was meant for her mother, whereas H is saying that she did give him a twisted tea and vapes, and told him afterwards to hide that from authorities when they were questioning him about what happened that day to Summer Wells. So who do we believe in this scenario? I think Candace has a lot to hide. I think she's just trying to cover her own tracks here in a lot of different ways, because more on that in a bit, but she does have a criminal record. Actually, both the parents do. And I see a lot of people talking about the inappropriate relationship that Candace had with H. So I will get back to that in a bit, but I really just want to preface my channel saying that I'm a discussion channel. I do talk a lot about speculations. So if that's not for you, I'm sorry, but if it is, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video. I was given a platform with the Gabby Petito case, so I was just really hoping to use my platform to just bring the face of Summer Wells out to everybody who watches me. So thank you so much for being here. So again, I'm not trying to spread rumors here, but there is speculation about Candace potentially giving a minor a twisted tea. So if we're just kind of running through, there's also another inconsistency with the timeline of the gallons of milk. So I show this picture a lot, but according to Hunter H, these gallons of milk, right, according to him, were put in the middle of the seat. But then in this last known photo of Summer ever taken, the gallons of milk somehow ended up on the other side of her. And no one really knows how that happened. And so there's a lot of speculation that maybe after H left the truck, that something happened, that they decided to prop Summer up on these gallons of milk to make it seem like she just fell asleep and that she was still alive. So again, this is just theories online. I'm not saying that's true, but that's the big speculation right now. Thank you, Angela Fleming, for subscribing. I have this little thing right here that basically lets me know about subscribing. And it's very fun to read your names. I'm sure when you guys subscribe, you guys are like, I didn't realize he was going to read my name. So it's a lot of fun to read them out. But let's get into what H has to say about the gallons of milk, because it is kind of interesting. So
You were in the car. Where'd they put the milk?
Well, they gave it to me.
They gave it to you.
Not to keep, but
to put it away.
Yeah.
And where did you put it?
I had it sitting on my lap until we got out the car.
Got it. And out here?
Yeah, out here.
Okay.
And she pulled up like your truck now, like where it's at right now.
Right.
But the opposite around.
Got it. So it's facing that way.
Yeah.
And you're getting out on this side. And where do you put the milk?
I set them in the middle because Summer had to. Did she even get out the car or did I? I thought she got out the car too. I don't remember that.
Okay. At some point, how did the milk bottles get on the other side of her? Do you know?
I have no idea then because she said that she was sleeping on the door. But when I got out the car, she wasn't even at the door. She was in the middle.
Was she sleeping on you?
Nah.
Was she asleep?
I didn't even see her sleep. I just got out the car because she wanted to talk to her.
How did the milk get rearranged?
I have no idea. I mean, I could have said I'm there when I got out the car.
That's fine.
But I'm telling you now, I really don't remember anything but talking to her.
Got it.
At that point.
No problem. What do you think, Miss Allison? How's that milk get rearranged?
I don't know, that milk was there when they pulled up like that.
Okay, but Hunter had the milk in the middle.
In the middle.
And so now the milk's on the other side of Summer. How does that happen?
I don't know.
I don't either, and that's why I'm asking.
I don't even remember how I got out the car. That's the funny part.
That's fine. That's
I
fine.
thought I was totally sitting in the middle the entire time, but I guess not.
yeah, so no one really knows how the milk got onto the other side of Summer in this photo, because the last time Hunter knew about the milk was he put it in the middle. So something happened in between him leaving the truck versus him, something happened in between that time from him leaving in the truck for this photo being taken. And there's actually a video too, more on that in a bit, but it is kind of like a huge speculation of like, why was that milk used to prop her up? Like, was she dead in that photo? Some people, I will touch that a little bit. The guy nerdy_addict on Twitter debunked this, that she actually has her thumb, looks like it's very erect, I guess is the word. And it makes her look like obviously like she's still alive. So I don't know what you guys think about if she's dead in this photo or not, because she would have gone limp. And her thumb wouldn't be so straight. It would have been like down. So I don't know. I look forward to what you guys have to say about this. Maybe somewhere moved it. I really look forward to reading all your comments. I actually do try to read your comments throughout. But so those are some inconsistencies with the timelines. I will be reading your comments at the end as well, as I go through this video and watch myself and cringe at everything I say. So the last inconsistency I wanted to talk about the timeline that I found was the 911 call. So according to Candace and according to Dawn, the parents, they were actually no further away than 40 to 60 feet away from Candace, from Summer when she went missing. But then we find out that in the 911 call, she actually said that she was going for a walk. So let's get into that.
110, 110 Bend Hill Road off of Beach Creek should be the first residence on your right. Reference to a missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in, advised that the mother had went for a walk, came home, now they can't find her. They've been yelling for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
Okay, so
again, audio from police.
Very weird, right? Did the dispatcher get it wrong? They also said in the dispatch call that she was 4 years old, but Summer Wells was 5 years old. So did the dispatcher get it wrong, or did Candace lie and she actually did go for a walk, and when she went for that walk and came back, Summer was gone? Was that Candace's original story? Did she change her story in the end to hide something? That has been a big source of speculation, is that the 911 call is inconsistent to Candace's story. So I'm just going to run through real fast all the inconsistencies I found. So the plans to go swimming were inconsistent. The bathing suit was inconsistent. The timeline of killing 30 minutes just doesn't add up. One of the big ones, and this is actually one I wasn't going to talk about, and thank goodness I ran through everything, was Summer going underwater. And this is good that I forgot this one, because this is one of the most important inconsistencies, that according to Hunter, Summer went underwater at the swimming hole, the Warrior swimming hole. According to H, she went underwater for 15 to 20 seconds. However, Candace, the mother, adamantly, vehemently, I think is the word, denies this. She actually got very angry at H for saying this, because it's just not true. So let's see what H had to say about that. Going underwater.
And with him sitting there saying that she fell on a rock, there's no rock. Where do you see a rock?
Right. Yeah, the only rocks I saw were right over here.
Yeah,
and then up there.
Yeah, they're way over there, and I'm right here.
Okay. So this is where she is, though.
Yeah, this is where she is, right here.
Okay. And how is she? What's her behavior?
She's jumping around, splashing, having a good time, just like Summer would always do.
Okay.
I mean, that's how all my kids are.
Okay.
They just splash around and have a good time.
Does she go underwater at any time that you see?
Oh, she just dips her head in, but sticks it right back up. I mean, it was only up to here at the time.
Where did this idea of under the water, where's that come from? Okay.
That just blew my mind when I heard that. I was like, she didn't even go under, because when she was playing in the water, I was literally taking the TikTok video just to watch, and I did different things, because that's how TikTok is. You can do different things with them.
Right.
And I was just taking TikTok video, and he come up out of there somewhere, and I was like, just splashed around, and then he threw up gang signs.
Do you know them?
No, I have no idea who that is.
Okay.
And then he started throwing up gang signs, and I'm like, so I moved it back away from him as quick as I could, and I was videoing them flowers, and then back at Summer again real quick. And then he decided to get in the water right there, and he went like this with the water a couple times. I told him, please stop that. She don't like to be splashed.
Okay.
And so he quit and got out. And I said, come on, Summer, we got to go get Grandma's prescription. And we just got back in the truck and left.
Okay, so I see people asking who is doing these interviews. I linked him in the description below, but his name is The Interview Room. He has literally 8 hours of footage. I combed through to find these clips. But so basically there is this kind of timeline that did Summer Wells go underwater, or didn't she go underwater? Candace says that she didn't go underwater, whereas H said she did. So H also said that when she went underwater, Candace and Grandma, who is also with them, were not paying attention during that time she went underwater. So did Candace just so happen to miss the part where Summer went underwater for 15 to 20 seconds? Very interesting. So we did cover, giving H alcohol during the time of swimming. He's a minor, the gallon of milk, and then finally the 911 call. So moving on, there's a lot to get through. I know some other people did 4-part series of this. I'm just trying to rip through it, because I know a lot of you guys watching are probably very familiar with the case. I see a lot of people saying it's dirty swamp water. They weren't prepared to go swimming, but it is kind of weird watching a young girl in non-swimwear in dirty swamp water. I mean, it kind of speaks towards the parenting. I don't want to cast doubt onto the parents too much, because, I do believe that neglect and abuse is kind of cyclical in families, and it's a mental health issue. So I don't want to shame them in any way. That's not the purpose of my video. Please don't send hate to anybody on my channel. You can always direct hate at me. I don't really mind, but please don't do it. So theories. Let's get into the theories. The timeline is, I'm sure you've heard it many times. I kind of covered it with the map and everything like that. It is kind of like boring to just list everything out. So let's get into the meat and the potatoes of my video, the theories. So the first theory was that she walked off. She just walked off. The area, Rogersville, Tennessee, is very rural. It's 4,400 people, according to the last time I checked the census. And it's very rugged terrain. Summer is a young 5-year-old girl who, if she folded up, she would be the size of a laptop, like the size of my dog right here. So she could be anywhere in that rugged terrain. But I see a lot of people not really buying that she walked off. Like even the mother, Candace, says that she was afraid of snakes and bears and the coyotes. Was her word. I think I can pronounce them coyotes, but at Marion, Tennessee, they say coyotes. So there is that theory that she walked off, but a lot of people, even the parents, don't believe it. The one that a lot of you guys believe is it was a cover-up of an accident. So as we just discussed, H said she went underwater. So Candace obviously denies that and got very angry and went on record being like, I don't know why he's lying on me, as they say in Tennessee. I didn't know you guys said that either. What's really fun about these cases is I learned so much about different cultures. I'm Canadian, so if I only go like a little bit like 4 hours south, it's crazy that you guys like have like different like ways of speaking. Candace says he was lying on me because that is basically saying that H was made that up and she didn't go underwater. So was there an accident? We also talked about the milk gallons being moved around after H went back to Allie's home. So did something happen in between that time that they had to move around the gallons to stage it to look like Summer was still alive and sitting up and just fell asleep? Was she in a different position? Did she fall over? Was she actually dead during that photograph? That is speculation. I'm not saying she is dead, but did she dry drown? Okay, so this is some research that I've done. Dry drowning is, a big speculation out there. I'm not saying she did dry drown, but I didn't know this. This is why I love reading about different cases, but dry drowning is basically when you have some sort of issue in the water and then later on you actually drown from it. So they aren't medical terms, but instead of breathing in water, which is how you drown, it causes the child's vocal cords to spasm and close up, and that shuts off their airways, making it hard to breathe. So it's basically, it irritates their lungs linings, and it causes their lungs to swell up, and then they can die from that. So again, it's like dirty swamp water. Maybe she did actually go underwater and breathed in some irritating water. And then later on, it swelled up her lungs and she ended up, secondary dry drowning from the swamp and being underwater. That is some speculation. I'm not a medical doctor, but this is what users online are saying. So take it with a grain of salt. She could have ended up falling victim to dry drowning. Something else that is very interesting. Thank you so much, Precious Chaos. I really appreciate everybody contributing to my channel. Please make sure that you subscribe if you're into discussions. I'm not saying everything here is, valid factual information. We're just discussing different possibilities with what happened to Summer Wells to hopefully get the discussion going, because she did kind of fall out of the media lately. So, she is going to be on the story is going to be on Dr. Phil next week. So I just kind of wanted to get her name out there and use my platform. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. The Lazarus Sign writes, so this is something very interesting. The Lazarus Sign is a reflex movement in brain dead or brain stem failure patients, which causes them to briefly raise their arms and drop them. crossed on their chest. So basically with the Lazarus sign, you see people
with him sitting there saying that she's
do this, like they move their hand up, and their hand is in the air. So keep that in mind when I play this clip. And this clip was actually, I couldn't find it online. It only existed on YouTube, but I think in some respects, this clip was an accident and they never meant to share this clip. So this clip is basically Candace Bly in the truck they were driving, asking her grandmother to film her daughter with her hand in the air. And a lot of people are saying this could be the Lazarus sign. So
she still got her arm up?
no.
Oh, that's what I was trying to catch. But she still got her arm up?
No.
Oh, that's what I was trying to catch. But she still got her arm up?
No.
Oh, that's what I was trying to catch. But she still got her arm up?
No.
Oh, that's what I was trying to catch.
So yeah, in that clip, it sounded like a man talking. No offense, Candace, if you're watching. I thought there was like H driving the truck at first, but no, it's Candace driving the truck, asking her grandmother, is her hand still up? And then her grandmother filming and saying, no, it's not. So it's a very bizarre kind of clip. Like, why are they trying to film her with her hand up? Could it have been the Lazarus sign? Someone asked in the chat, I try to read your chats. I look forward to reading your comments at the end, but her little hand is circled right here because Nerdy Addict pointed out that her hand was actually erect, like that, which means it's possible that she wasn't dead, because if she was dead, her hand would be limp. That's why I circled her little hand. So the milk jugs were moved. Something happened to prop her up is basically that theory, which is a cover up of an accident. Number 3 was that, okay, this one is a little bit of a trigger warning, but, it is kind of, I did want to talk about it. Was she sold and was she trafficked? So I'm very sorry if this is triggering you guys, but these are basically what is going on in this case. And I did discuss a little bit earlier about how in this one image here, it was a sweltering hot truck, and then she was wearing a pullover and a sweater. And that kind of is going back to the other theory, cover up of an accident, where were they trying to hide markings in that photo by wearing long sleeves when it was a boiling hot truck? Candace says, she gets hot very easily. So why did they put her in a sweater for that video? It is kind of compelling that she's wearing a sweater after when it was a boiling hot truck. And why would they put her in a sweater if she got hot really easily? But going back to some speculation here, and I want to really make sure I'm prefacing this with, this is entirely speculation, but one of the theories was she sold and was she trafficked? So I did some research on this, and I kind of briefly discussed this, but they use TikTok. And in my research, I found that TikTok is actually kind of a breeding ground for child predators. So if I'm looking at how does the TikTok algorithm work here, and if you guys use TikTok, I would just kind of be mindful that, TikTok is known to be this kind of platform where children dance around. And if you're a child predator, you would go onto TikTok and basically like a lot of videos of children dancing, lip syncing to like Beyonce. And then the algorithm would basically just recommend you those videos. And, honestly, when I signed up for TikTok, I do have a TikTok. I was like very disturbed by the fact that I obviously put my my gender as male, and immediately within the first day of signing up to TikTok, I was recommended like young girls dancing in like skimpy clothing, and I was just like very weirded out by that. I'm like, why would that be one of the first few videos I see on this platform? But it is kind of has that kind of vibe to it, where it's known to be young children using TikTok. So one of the things that really kind of weirds me out about TikTok is that it says here, TikTok's algorithm gives a heavy importance on where your content is posted from. So if you go on TikTok and you put your location as Tennessee, you will be served up videos taken in Tennessee. Okay? So if you're a child predator who likes a lot of young children dancing on TikTok, I'm sorry if this is really triggering. It is kind of really gross to talk about, but it would basically serve you up those videos in your location. Tennessee is a known hotspot for child predators as well. So if I'm looking at the registry right here, it's actually very disturbing. And thank you again to Nerdy Addict on Twitter for pointing this out. I'm going to link him in my YouTube, but he's the one that really got me interested in this case. But if you're looking at Tennessee here, it is pretty like, you know, if you're looking at the states, you see all these big bubbles. It's like a heat map. And Tennessee is a known hotspot for child predators. It just is what it is, right? And, Candace is known to, not to create any judgment about this, but there are videos, there are TikTok of Candace uses that have images of Summer on it. So let's just play one of those TikTok videos, and it's just really gross to talk about. I'm sorry. But it is, some speculation out there. And here we are with one of her videos that she posted. So yeah, dancing in the rain, and a lot of people have pointed out in the background here, there's a for sale sign behind Summer dancing on TikTok, and it says for sale right behind her. Yeah. So I see Ryan writing, Candace had a relationship with H. More on that in a bit, but there is this kind of intergenerational cycle of abuse and neglect that we'll talk about in a bit. But there is, speculation that maybe she was sold. And it's very hard to talk about. I didn't realize how hard this would be to talk about, but that is some speculation. And I'm not making this up because this is, what other people are saying. We do have Hunter at one point saying, H, the underage teen, who I'm calling H, and I keep forgetting to call him H, saying that after she was missing, H went through Candace's phone and looked at texts that she tried to delete. And in those texts, he saw that in one of those texts was from a drug dealer. And that text said, "It's done." So let's get into what Hunter had to say.
I looked in there.
Thank you so much for being here.
I seen 13 messages between her and her drug, I'm gonna say drug dealer because he is. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to name his name, but yeah, all I seen was the first message before she started walking up to the mailbox to get up here is that it was done, and I was gonna read the next message of what she said. And she just started running up here, and I literally just slid my phone in my pocket and just put hers there. It's like, she asked me if I went through her phone. I said no. Why? Because I cleared it all out before she can get up here.
Did you tell TBI all this?
Yeah, I told her.
Okay.
Yeah, so in that clip, H is saying that he found a text message from the dealer to Candace saying, quote unquote, "It's done." And that is a very ominous text message. And this text message happened after Summer went missing. So it is kind of leading to this theory that maybe Summer was sold. there is some speculation as well from Dawn saying that his stepsister made a bunch of statements. One of the statements was that, according to the stepsister, I want to be very clear, these are allegations given by the stepsister, that Dawn used to be inappropriate with her. This is the stepsister. And the stepsister also went on record saying that at one time, Dawn actually tried to sell his oldest son from a previous relationship for drugs.
Right. There's been a lot of rumors that he tried to sell his 2 older children at one point.
Right. It wasn't the 2 oldest children. It was his oldest son. And what had happened is his ex-wife had came to my mom's house with the 2 kids. And I think little Donnie, his oldest, was only about 2 years old at the time, I think. And anyway, she came in and said that she had just caught Donnie downtown trying to sell his oldest son for drugs.
And he was 2 at the time.
Yeah, his little boy was about 2 years old at the time. But he was into a lot of drugs at that time, so.
Yeah, sorry. This is just really hard to talk about. I feel so gross talking about this. But it is speculation that other people are saying. So let's move on. The last one, my last theory was she was abducted. So, okay, I also have another clip I wanted to play. I just find this really gross to talk about. I don't know. I didn't practice this script at all, but this is really weird to talk about on my live. I'll be completely honest. I just want to say, and I really want to clear this up, and this may be controversial. I don't believe the parents are involved. So I just want to preface it with that. I feel really bad for them, actually.
And said I had somebody, either posing or said they had the inside scoop with CBI and that they knew that I sold my daughter for drugs. And I flipped out. I believed that stuff. I believed it. Then I flipped out. I started drinking and everything else. And that's why they took our kids.
Yeah, so I feel really bad for the parents. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I think a lot of people are expecting it's the parents. And then we hear in that clip that Don was basically very upset that people think this is true of him. And I think it's important to hear from his side too, because it is such a tragic case for them as well. More on that in a bit about what I believe, but I just want to say I don't believe this is true, but it is basically rumors being spread around about it. And I'm a discussion channel, so I discuss every possible angle. And if that's not for you, I'm sorry, but if it is, please hit the subscribe button. Last one I want to get into was she was abducted. So this is very interesting because we do have information, obviously, from the interview room that there was a bunch of dogs there. So, and this is also something that Dawn and Candace Wells both believe, that she was abducted. So I really want to give a lot of airtime to this. I try to keep my live streams to under an hour, but this one's probably going to go to an hour and a half, and my camera's probably going to die. So I have about 30 more minutes to get through my last little bit here, so that should be enough time. So dogs. The dogs are very important. The dogs are very loud. There's at least 10 of them. I have a dog. My dog flips out at every possible noise there is. So the dogs are kind of compelling. Let's listen to them. And of course, there's no sound on this clip, which is really annoying. I don't know how that happened. There's supposed to be sound on this clip, but basically there's like 10 dogs and they're all just like barking and going crazy. And yeah, there's a lot of dogs. So I don't know why the sound didn't play. Weird. Maybe I accidentally exported it without sound. So the dogs are just, the point of that clip was that there's like 10 dogs and they're all like barking up a storm. And so it is very weird that there was, you know, if she was abducted by a stranger, which in my opinion is the least likely scenario, just because the dogs would have alerted the family members towards, you know, a stranger being on the property, because there's like literally like at least 10 dogs and they're all very loud. So, you know, it had to be someone that they knew. And I discussed this at the beginning of the story too, but you can see that the house is on a hill on an 11-acre lot. There is a lot of, you know, it is on a basement. So you would have to really like sneak in there. And I think it is possible to sneak in there. This is where she was abducted from, this basement right here. Let's play that again. So yeah, that's a drone video taken by nerdy_addict. I'm definitely going to link him in my description. He did a really good job with that. And it is kind of eye-opening that, you know, Candace and her mother, the grandmother, were gardening up front on a hill, on top of the hill where the front door is. And then Summer is in this basement area. So it is possible that someone snuck up there and just snatched her from the basement, because it is kind of like on the lower level and there's a door right there. Because as you know, most basements don't have doors, but this one did have a door. And so it is kind of possible that she was abducted. We all know Cleo Smith was abducted from her tent in Australia, but she was returned home. So, you know, I really hope the same for Summer Wells, that she is basically found in someone's home, alive and well. That is the energy I'm putting out there. Thank you so much for being here. So she was abducted, but as you know, the dogs would have alerted. There is a big long driveway. It's not like they could just like drive up and snatch her and drive away. This person had to be known to the dogs and sneak up onto the house. So we kind of looked a lot at different people. So one of the first people we're going to look at, unfortunately, is the parents. So I kind of saved this information to the very end, because I do see a marked difference between how Candace acted initially versus how she acts now. There's a very heartbreaking message from Candace on the official website for this case. It was a letter to her daughter, and it's very hard to read. It's very emotional, but I do see a marked difference between how Candace acted at the beginning of the case versus now. She seems like she really wants to find her daughter, and I just want to preface it with that, because I find this clip very hard to watch, and it was the first clip I was introduced to on this case. And what I found so hard about this case was the fact that the parents are very hard to listen to. It's very easy to judge the parents. It's very easy to look at them and be like, well, that's the problem. So I did try to save this to the very end, because I didn't want anybody to have any sort of bias towards the parents. But my main points in this clip is that they seem impaired, they seem emotionless, and they're using past tenses to discuss their missing daughter, which some will say is incriminating. So let's get into it.
She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
Well, I knew right away that she was abducted. You know, I knew that right away, and that's what I told them from the beginning. But they have to go through their, you know, I forget the word.
Investigation.
They have to do one step at a time, I guess, but I'm sorry that they had to spend so many man hours in these woods and everything. I've seen them limping and everything else, you know, and I feel for them.
She loved to dance.
She liked to think of herself as a princess, and, you know, and all that, like all young girls do. And
she loved Frozen. She loved to be that Elsa, and
I think she really loved to be in church because she felt a lot of love there, and I think you can't explain what that love is, but you feel it and you know it, when you're young. And she felt that there, and she loved everybody in that church. Or she loves everybody in that church. I should rephrase that, because they'll tear that apart as past tense, and I apologize again for that.
Yeah, so in that clip, it is very hard to listen to. There's a lot of judgments being cast on the parents. Obviously, they seem impaired in that clip. I'm not saying that they are. It's just, in my opinion, they look like they are. Especially Candace, she's talking very slowly. Very hard to listen to her. I'm sorry, it is. And it is kind of like your mind immediately goes to, well, it's them. Like, they did something. And that's been the big bias in my looking at this case, is how the parents acted. And, they come across as like impaired. They come across as emotionless. They use past tense to discuss their child. They say Summer was. Thank you so much, Don, for that sticker. How's it going? Really appreciate all the super chats. And they also, Don at one point says, I feel bad for the searchers, which is such a weird thing to say about your daughter who is missing, that you feel bad for the people searching for her. The only people you should feel bad for is the victim, who is Summer Wells. So it is kind of interesting that this clip is just very, makes them look really guilty. And I kind of saved it to the end because I wanted you guys to make your own decisions about this case before you saw that clip. But from the start, a lot of people had a really big issues with that clip. And something that's interesting as well is that they both have criminal records. Both of them do. I'm not going to list their criminal records on my channel, but they're extensive. And at one point, Candace was granted an order of protection against Dawn. She wrote, I am afraid of my children and myself. So yeah, she basically got a order of protection, Candace, against Dawn, who is her husband. And a lot of people are basically, again, using that as evidence as to Dawn is a dangerous person and Dawn has a lot to do with Summer Wells being missing. That's what a lot of people are saying. And I mean, that's basically corroborated by the stepsister as well. It's also interesting that at one point we see Summer Wells's room, and there's the Dr. Phil special coming up. And I really just wanted to get this image of Summer Wells's room out there, because it does actually say a lot to how she lived during this time. And it's very symptomatic of neglect. So let's get into this image right here. We see, Summer's bedroom is on the left right here. This is the inside the basement, and on the right, you see the basement. So if you go in here, this is what it looks like on the inside. Not very pleasant towards children. There's a Dr. Phil show coming up where they basically redid this basement and they painted it and they made it look a lot nicer. But this is from the interview room where before they even did the Dr. Phil special, we got images of what Summer's condition she lived in looked like. And you can see that it is very neglectful. Was Summer neglected is a big question. And I just really want to talk about how I feel about this case. I feel like this case is, I don't really think the parents should be blamed, because I feel like Summer, as well as Gabby Petito, who basically gave me my platform, I feel like this is a failure of society. We failed Summer in some ways, because we do learn that on July 26th, CPS later took away their other 3 kids, who are the 3 boys. Also, Candace has lost previous kids from other relationships as well. We don't know the reason for the CPS taking away their children on July 26th, but Don says it was because of the media spotlight. They were receiving death threats, but we don't know that to be true. But we do know that the 3 boys that they also had were taken away by CPS. And I want to kind of ask the audience here, if CPS was attuned to the neglect that was happening at this Summer Wells' home, should they have taken Summer Wells away as well earlier, and we wouldn't be in this predicament now where there's a missing 5-year-old that all of America is looking for? Kind of interesting to think about. And why didn't CPS do this earlier? Don says it's because of the media attention, but my gut feeling says it's not. I think what happened here was because Summer Wells was missing, there was a big magnifying glass under the parents, and then they basically saw how, the children lived in that home and took them away. So it is kind of a failure of the system here. And what I want to talk about some more is a lot of people in chat are basically saying this, and I kind of left this to the end. But we see here on the left-hand side that Candace had a previous daughter who was taken away from her, and her name is Candace as well. She writes, I was adopted at 6 months, put back into foster care around the age of 12, along with my brother. I was told my biological mother was a meth head and abused us as babies. She has a record. And of course, she's talking about her mother, Candace. So Candace has a history of her kids being taken away from her due to neglect. And we all saw that in the room. And I saw some people discussing this, and I didn't want to give this too much attention because it is a rumor. However, it is very important we discuss this because it is speculation that a lot of people have, is that Candace was in a relationship with a minor who I call H here. And basically what gives that away here is H on Facebook says on May 27th, he posts a photo with Candace. And then on that same day, he writes he's in a relationship. And then we see here that Candace has some very inappropriate things to say to that regard. Candace writes, no, I don't F my homies. So H is a minor, kind of a weird thing to say. I don't know if this is true. Again, these are Facebook screenshots, but these are basically speculation out there. And on my channel, we give all speculation a chance if I believe it holds some water. And we did get Candace replying to these rumors, and she completely denies this.
There is a rumor about these polygraph tests. Clear that up.
All right, the first one that I took, and I didn't really take it because they kind of threw me in the back of the squad car, so I was really upset and, just I was crying my eyes out.
Okay.
And so when I got up there to the courthouse, we tried to do it, but I couldn't do it. Okay. So we waited a few days, and then I went back and I did it, and I passed it.
Okay.
So that was that.
Okay. And then what about the rumors of this relationship situation with Hunter?
Are you crazy? I got a husband and 4 kids that I love to death.
Okay.
Yeah, so Candace in that clip basically says that she passed a polygraph test. Her first one, Hunter H says she failed, but then later on she passed another one. But she says that she couldn't take the first one because she was in tears, and that she did end up passing the second one. However, on my channel, I don't really believe polygraph tests at all. I think they're more of an interrogation tactic rather than, a claim of innocence. But we do see Candace responding to those rumors that she's in a relationship with H, a minor, who she also gave a twisted tea to, according to him, and vapes as well, basically saying that's not true. So I don't know what to believe. Conflicting stories there. She did have 2 previous children taken away from her. She had her 3 boys taken away from her. And she also had Summer Wells go missing. She also has a sister who we'll get to in a bit that went missing as well. I think that pretty much covers the parents and how they're viewed and all the speculation surrounding them. And basically, could they have know more what happened to Summer Wells and it's a big cover up, or could they have sold her and it's a big cover up? Like, a lot of suspicion is cast onto the parents for various reasons: the criminal records, the neglect, the alleged relationship with a minor, the cycles of abuse. The stepsister basically said that Don behaved inappropriately with her. The stepsister also says that he tried to sell his oldest son, whose also name is Don, for drugs on the street. Don is also a child predator. Don the son is a child predator. So Don Wells, the father, has a son, the oldest son, Don, who's 34 years old, and he's also has a child predator claim against him as well. So there is this kind of like cycle of abuse happening in the family. Just wanted to point that out. But we do have another person whose name is Billy. Billy allegedly gets into fights with his wife and apparently stays on the property of Candace. And during the timeline, Billy actually was brought up to H in the car that Candace received a call from Dawn, who said that there was a strange man hanging around on the property during the time that Summer Wells went missing. So let's get into that.
Name was Billy, right? Yes, Billy. Billy was up there doing that stuff until we got arrested.
And Billy is the brother,
No.
the son.
No. Billy was an old drunk.
He's what?
He was an old drunk that was a friend of theirs that used to get in arguments with his wife.
And go
his
up
wife
to their
would
house.
take him out, and he would go up there and sleep in one of the sheds on the property.
Got it. And
so yeah, Billy is known to touch children, and he's known to be frequenting around the house as well. The only Billy I could find on the registry was this man here, but there are a bunch of offenders in the area, and I found one named Billy as well. So there is an offender in the area who is named Billy, is the point of this little discussion here. So again, it could have been Billy who abducted her. We don't know. Just moving right along, there's another person who could have abducted her. His name is JD. JD was apparently going to buy a property across the street from the Summer Wells' family home. And this man is named JD. He's not really affiliated with the case, so I don't think I can say his name, but he changed his appearance after Summer Wells went missing. Let me just try to bring this up here. So he apparently he was going to buy a property near the Summer Wells' home. And he was actually camping out across the street. And he didn't end up buying the home and moved back to Cleveland, Georgia, and changed his appearance. So this is somebody else that could have abducted her. It was also discovered that JD has a red truck as well. So this is a possible person affiliated with the case. And lastly, I just want to discuss the grandparents. So Candace's grandmother has a brother named Warren Harrer, and Warren Harrer is a registered offender whose crime started around the same time Rose Bly, who is the grandmother's daughter, went missing. So Harrer is serving his sentence for incest with a child. So let's get into him and the grandparents and how there's some weird stuff going on with the grandparents. The grandmother lived on the property in a trailer. So it is kind of interesting that she has very close kind of relations with the family. And it is kind of interesting that the grandmother has a daughter who also went missing. So this isn't the first time there has been a missing persons in their family. We have another missing person right here called Rose Bly. Rose Bly also went missing. And Rose Bly, right? was last seen leaving her residence, and her car was discovered 5 days later, 30 miles from her residence in a parking lot typically used by truck drivers to park their tractor trailers. So she went missing quite some time ago, but she also is affiliated with this case and the family as well. Let me just try to find the exact date she went missing. So she went missing from St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin, in 2009, and she is the sister of Candace, and it's obviously the grandma's daughter. The grandma's daughter and granddaughter both went missing, and the grandma has a brother named William Harrer, who's actually being let out right now for his incest with a child crime. And it's very weird because I try to find if he was incarcerated, but it looks like William Harrer, Candace's grandma's brother, was only ever supervised and not incarcerated. So it is kind of interesting that the grandma has a brother who potentially could be linked to this case in some way, linked to the case of Rosemary Bly, linked as well to the daughter. And if Summer Wells, and even if he isn't, it is kind of telling that there is this kind of cycle of abuse within the Wells's family. And that comes across in both sides of the family. There's a cycle of abuse with, Don Wells and the stepsister, as well as Don Wells and his oldest son, Don, as well as on Candace's side with William Harrer. There's kind of like this weird, child abuse situation going on in the family. So I'm just going to talk about what I think now. In conclusion, what do I think? Thank you so much for that super chat, guys. You're doing an exceptional job. Thank you for covering all of these cases. Yeah, thank you so much, Denise. I forgive them all. Really appreciate everybody being here. I was given such a platform with the Gabby Petito case, and this has been my most requested case to cover, the Summer Wells case. And honestly, there's been close to 10 hours of footage I scanned through to come up with this video. And so I'm just trying to get everything that I've learned from this case on here that's compelling. And I look forward to reading all your comments about what you guys think. But I want to get into what I think. And I'm just going to say, who the F knows? That's literally what I'm going to say, because I think if I'm trying to put everything together here, I think you can basically rule out Summer Wells just walking away. I think that's just one of the least cases. But if we're talking about the other three cases where it's cover up of an accident, she was trafficked, or she was abducted, those three other ones, I think all those could have been a possibility. And that's what's so frustrating about this case. And I did try to get some help from you guys. I did a little poll, and you guys had a lot to say about this. And I really appreciate everybody responding to my poll. Because I'm literally stumped. I'm literally stumped on this case. I asked you guys, what do you think happened to Summer Wells? And basically it was an overwhelming majority said cover up of an accident. So a lot of you guys think there was an accident and they basically covered it up. What was that accident? Could it have been the accident at the swimming hole? Could have been something else? It's possible. And then I also asked, who do you think knows what happened to Summer Wells? It was between the parents, Billy the neighbor, Jackie Dobbs, and the grandparents. Overwhelmingly, everybody says the parents. Everybody said the parents. I was shocked. And I'm more on that of why I was shocked. And I actually asked Nerdy Addict on Twitter, who was the guy that really helped me a lot with this research, just reading his Twitter. I go, what makes everyone so sure the parents know more? He writes, I still lean towards someone preying on the family shortfalls and taking Summer. Police have phones, CPS has boys, land was searched extensively. Parents would be charged already unless there's LE corruption, in my opinion. And I'm just gonna say, I agree. I'm gonna finish with I don't think it was the parents. I understand why everybody thinks it was the parents. If we're looking at the statistics of child abductions, 49% of them are the parents taking them. But there is a small fraction of somebody, random taking them. And I think the reason why I don't personally, and I look forward to reading all your comments, personally, I don't think it was the parents. I personally just feel like, Candace talks about her TV being taken away because it was attached to the Wi-Fi and they searched that. As we all know, looking at the parents, Don Walls was recently arrested on a DUI charge for getting cigarettes. This was a recent development in the case. They're not the most criminally mastermind people. They tend to get caught a lot. I think Candace actually talks about how she didn't want her grandmother picking flowers at the well because she didn't want to get caught picking flowers. Like, Candace is kind of like this blundering kind of person. I don't want to use the word fool, but she's kind of like this kind of like clown. Sorry, Candace, if you're watching, but kind of like this like bumbling kind of person. The idea that she would cover up her child missing so well that 5 months later we don't have answers, when Dawn can't even get cigarettes without getting caught for a DUI. That's the reason why I don't believe it's the parents. But I look forward to reading what you guys have to say, all your theories. Yeah, I don't have the answers, but I just really wanted to get Summer Wells' picture out there. And hopefully we can have the same kind of conclusion we had with Cleo Smith and what had happened to her. So again, this is the billboard, everybody. I'm going to read your comments. My camera is going to die, but I really just wanted her image to be out there, and, she could be anywhere. So missing Summer Wells, 5 years old, last seen June 15th, 2021 in Rogersville, Tennessee. Call 800 TBI find to find her. Really just want to get her image out there. She is a beautiful young girl with her whole life ahead of her. And what I really wanted to get across here was that maybe she could have been the one in the family to stop the cycle of abuse and basically break the cycle of her family, and hopefully have better outcomes for her children and her life as well. And that's really what I wanted to come across here, was that when I first read this case, I was very, very biased towards, it's the parents. They're poor. It's just all those things that go out in your head. You're just automatically peg them. But what I try to do in my video was talk about the timeline, the speculation, and leave all the incriminating video of the parents till the end, and basically hopefully you guys made your decisions from the start about what happened to Summer Wells. I look forward to reading all your comments. I really, really hope I did this case justice. I really was expecting to cam up and have only 100 people watching me. Surprised it's even not just me and my mother watching. My mom is a moderator here. Thank you so much for all the moderators who keep this a safe and constructive place to discuss our theories. I'm going to read some of your theories right now. Donna Glover writes, she's very childlike, much love, writes, bye everybody, take care of your children. Yeah, take care of your children, guys. Melody writes, yep, I don't want to read this out. We'll do it every time. Cops hate to see kids in these situations, plus they don't like poor folks at all who have substance abuse problems. And I'm just going to keep it gangster with everybody here. I really had to get over my bias with this case, and I talk about it a lot, but when I read this case, the first thing I saw was that video of Candace, emotionless, inebriated, almost looking. I'm sorry, but she looks like she was. Candace, if you're watching, I'm really sorry, but that's the way it came across, and a lot of people thought that. And I just lost interest. But at the end of the day, we have a 5-year-old girl still missing that deserves just as much justice as Gabby did, and just as much justice as Cleo Smith did, despite her parents. And I do feel like there is a lot of bias in this case, with law enforcement basically giving up on the search, running out of money, and basically saying, these are the consequences of this sort of parenting. I don't think that. I think, you know, Americans and myself have a duty to protect children, because the children obviously don't choose what family they're born into. And she deserves every much attention, in my opinion, as Gabby did. And I really hope we don't give up the search with Summer Wells. And I really hope we, you know, bring her home and find her, because she's still out there. It's been 5 months. We don't know where she is. Walking with Heather writes that wasn't alcohol with the mother. Yeah, we did get into that sort of speculation with previous, you know, her previous daughter who was taken away from her, basically saying it was a lot harder substances. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get sued. But yeah, that's like some speculation, obviously, that there is more to just alcohol in that family. Yeah, Walking with Heather writes, they found that little girl, Chloe, this week, didn't they? Yeah, they did find Chloe. A lot of people, again, in that case, speculated that it was the parents that knew more than they did. And it eventually turned out through a bunch of investigations that the zipper on the tent was too high for the child to reach, meaning that someone did go to the tent and unzip that zipper, who was an adult. And that basically said that she was abducted. And she, you know, despite everybody assuming it was the parents, she actually was abducted by a stranger. It does happen. You know, you look at the statistics of child abductions, 49% of them are parents. And a lot of other ones are kind of all over the place. You know, some of them do run away, but it is very interesting that it does happen that children do go missing from, you know, what's so crazy about the Summer Wells case was that she went missing in broad daylight, surrounded by family in a rural town. Like, what are the chances of that happening? So bizarre. And I think when you consider it through that light and just put aside all your bias, you know, why not could she have been abducted by a complete stranger? And I think Nerdy Addict said the same thing, where the person who abducted Summer basically took advantage of the situation of her home life, where she was kind of neglected to a certain degree, just by judging from how she kept the room and judging by how the house was kept. You know, there is this kind of speculation that she was neglected, and, you know, also the speculation of the children being taken away from previous marriages and stuff like that, that maybe someone did take advantage of the situation and she is abducted. That's what I think. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. Thank you, Chelsea, for that super chat. She writes, this is a very suspicious missing child, but we all don't know what happened, and it's probably going to take time to figure it all out, but I don't think people should be harassing and bullying the 15-year-old. Yeah, so Chelsea, thank you so much for reminding me. Please don't send hate to anybody on my channel. That's not the purpose of my channel. I don't like when people, you know, get their spears out and like harass other people. That's not the point of my... I just really wanted to get Summer Wells's face out there. And I'll just kind of run through the red truck again, because I think if anybody has information about this red truck, the TBI are saying that this is a Tacoma, but I see some people being like, it's not a Tacoma, but this is the truck that they're looking for in the same area, June 15th and June 16th, the day after and the day of Summer went missing. There was this red truck in the area that they're asking people with any information about this truck to come forward and contact the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. My camera's going to die any second. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Please subscribe, ring the bell so you never miss a video. And I'm going to keep reading your comments until my camera dies. But my camera will die and I will end the stream. Michael Clifford writes, Joe, I don't think you know this, but Dawn Wells said they never taught Summer how to swim. Ooh, that's interesting. Guys, like I love true crime with you guys. I really wasn't expecting 900 people to be here because this case isn't mainstream. Like, this case hasn't had any real updates for quite some time. But what's interesting about this case is there's still a lot of speculation. There's still a lot of theories. There's still a lot of little nuggets of information. The really good thing about this case is that the parents are talking and they are very open and receptive to being interviewed on different YouTube channels. Unfortunately for me, I found like most of the interviews were quite long. So getting like real nuggets of information was very hard. So I will keep an eye out for that information where Summer Wells apparently doesn't know how to swim. That's very interesting. Thank you so much for that. But everyone on the Facebook post for relationship, not saying you're doing it. I love your, okay. So Chelsea, thank you so much. Chelsea Bullard, thank you so much for that super chat. I really appreciate it. Not saying you're doing it, but everyone on the Facebook post for a relationship, not saying you're doing it. I love your channel. Yeah, so that's the thing. When I was researching this case, it was very difficult because there are a lot of rumors. And I tried my best on my channel to stick to what was being said online and what I could talk about on video. So I really, really made sure that all the speculation I was talking about, I could play a video about it to get both sides of the story. So we do know that Candace denies ever being in a relationship with a minor. So thank you so much for that super chat. But I tried to stick as much as possible to the prevailing theories out there, and basically try to just talk about them and see what you guys have to say. This is like kind of like an introduction video to the Summer Wells case. And I'm just hoping that I can make a video within a couple weeks that we found Summer Wells. And so that's the reason why I did this video, is because I didn't want to just like come out of nowhere and be like, breaking news, Summer Wells found. I want to make sure that we know the setup to the story. Dr. Phil is going to be covering this case next week, and I'll most likely do a video about the Dr. Phil appearance. And everything I say on my channel, I obviously try to preface with this is speculation, but I try to make sure that I have video evidence and of the speculation. Like when I talked about the speculation with Candace being in a relationship with H, I did follow it up with an interview with Candace where she denies that. So it was a big enough speculation, big enough theory that Candace actually knows about it, which is why I covered it. I'm only covering the big speculations. Some of the big speculations I covered was obviously the plan to go swimming, the bathing suit, killing 30 minutes, Summer going underwater, giving a minor alcohol, gallons of milk, 911 call, and then of course, casting doubt on the parents in different ways. And then obviously talking about different theories, but those are the main speculations, and all those are just like the big ones. So if you have any nuanced ones that you'd like to share, you can always put them in chat. I read your comments, and you can, on my about page, there's a bunch of social media handles and emails you can reach me at. I look forward to reading all your comments. So let's read some more. Yeah, so Tanya writes, I believe the parents actually have a YouTube channel. Okay, they do have a YouTube channel. They're actually really cool people in some ways because they like fly drones and stuff, and they have a YouTube channel. They have a website. I just like to see that they're trying to clear their name. And I think really what I wanted to do on my video was like leave all the doubts about the parents till the very end, because I did want to basically just make sure this is about getting justice for Summer Wells. She is a 5-year-old girl. She didn't choose her family. So I really just wanted to bring her home. But something that's interesting about the parents, I wasn't going to play this video. I am going to play it now though, because we are coming to a close here. My camera's going to die any moment. But we do have Candace getting very angry at someone for flying a drone. And it's actually quite funny to watch because they're flying drones above their house, and basically he got really angry. Candace got really angry at Nerdy Addict for flying these drones. I'm gonna link him in my description box, but this guy is literally where I got a lot of my information from. And really, he's building a great online community for this case, and it's really what made me like this case a lot. So he flies a lot of drones above the home, and Candace was very angry at him for doing that because apparently in Tennessee, you're not allowed to fly drones above private property, but he was doing it anyway. Not saying that he was out of line, but Candace basically thought he was out of line, but he says he's not. I'm not too sure about the rules about flying drones, but basically Candace was very angry that he was doing that. And she basically went and yelled at him and said, you're going to get shot or something for flying drones. And then the next thing you know, they bought a drone and put it on their YouTube channel. So now they're flying drones, which is kind of funny. I think defending Nerdy Addict here, I do feel that he was just trying to generate interest in the case. And I totally get it. Like, that's the whole point of my video too. Basically generating interest in this case. And that's really what this video is all about. Just not letting Summer fall out of the headlines, letting people know about the case, and getting her face and the red truck out there is really the goal of this video. So I understand where Candace is coming from. I understand where Nerdy Addict is coming from, but I still feel like you shouldn't be threatening to shoot people at the end of the day. Trying to pull up the video now, but it's basically Candace yelling at this guy for flying drones over the home, which is, according to Candace, illegal. I'm not too sure how I feel about that. I do think, we're just trying to get her daughter's name out there and trying to get any information about the case out there, really, just to not let it fall out of the headlines. So I'm trying to find the video. Please subscribe to my channel. I will be covering a lot of different cases here. The Candace case. Okay, so I did actually find the video. Only took 5 minutes, but it's kind of a funny video to watch. It's basically Candace yelling at this guy for flying a drone. Thank you for bearing with me. This is totally unplanned. Let's play that. So I don't know if you guys actually heard that. I'm just going to play it again. It's basically being like, I'm going to shoot you for flying a drone. Which is like, the guy is literally trying to help you. You're going to get shot if you don't get out of here. This is Candace yelling at him. I mean, it's a little scary, right? Like, happy Halloween, you're going to get shot. Very interesting to watch that. Smoky Blue Days writes, I'm in Tennessee and I had a drone problem in my neighborhood. He was a creeper, but point is you can't fly too low over private property and you can't excessively hover. Otherwise you're good. Yeah. And I think Nerdy, the guy that filmed these, says that what he does, he's not really worried about their threats because he was not surveilling them. He was only getting footage of the property and not flying over private property. So it'd be interesting to know how that case plans out. But I do think it's kind of like the clip I just played was gold of like Candace basically threatening to shoot him. So Pink Butterfly writes, they're not poor. He makes good money, no house payment, water, sewer, heat with good mild winters. Yeah. Andrea Garcia writes, you talked about the grandmother, but what about the grandfather? It's very good questions, guys. That is something that I don't know too much about. I have no idea, actually. 100%. I want to keep it gangster with everybody here. I literally spent 2 weeks researching this case, maybe probably like a week and a half. It was very mentally draining because of my own personal bias and losing interest. And I've never had any sort of information on the grandfather. I have no idea what happened to him. The only thing I know about the grandparents is that Billy, who's the guy that hangs around the area, apparently has the hots for grandmother, which is kind of an interesting tidbit of information. But Billy is also kind of like a creep that hangs out on their property. I think I didn't get a chance to play the image of Billy, but this is the only Billy I could find in the area that is a creep, who's a child predator. I really look forward to reading all your comments. You guys have been really awesome. I love to see like people are still interested in this case. I really was expecting to cam up and have only like 100 people here. So the fact that there's like 900 people watching little old me is crazy. Oh, all right. This is the Billy, the only person I could find in the area. My camera did die. I'm going to call it a quits here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I love you guys all. Yeah, Debbie writes, oh, Joseph, that's not long enough. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I said I would go right up until my camera died. My camera did die. Really appreciate everybody hanging out with me here. If you're new here, please rewind to the front. It's about an hour-long show. I try to cover everything. So really appreciate everybody hanging out here. Please make sure you subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so you never miss a video. You're welcome, guys. I love you guys all. I'm going to walk my dog, and it's been real. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me. I love you all. Like, seriously, was not expecting 900 people here. I was just going to be like, oh, this is only going to be like 100 people watching. I'm so shocked that there was like 1,000 people. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate everybody. And just want to end on getting justice for Summer. I really hope it's the same kind of conclusion we have with Cleo Smith, where we do find her alive and well, and just putting that information out there. Please, if you have any sort of information regarding this case, please contact 800 TBI Fine. I love you guys all. Talk to you guys soon.